all of Golesh's graphs are going up right now. It's
positive.
It's all working. Now, could that change after the Baylor game or the Florida game?
Sure. What happens on Saturdays in the fall or what matters the most. But again, for a preseason year one, it's going really well because I think he's exceeded a lot of people's expectations in recruiting already, which is a good sign because that was probably the biggest question mark. Like, I don't think anybody could sit here and say, like with Alex Golesh, is like, well, can he coach? Can his offense work? Well, yes, it can, and it can work in this league. You saw it at Tennessee, right? You saw that. I feel like the defense is definitely in a really good spot with, like you said, the amount of people they retained and the what they were able to bring in. Really, it's just it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you lost some big names, right? Like Cam Coleman's a big name that they lost. Eric Singleton's a big name that they lost. Malik Blockton, like
the corners,
Amaris. Like, those are guys that are, and like Amaris won't play this year, but like that was a big loss. However, I said this the other day because there's people who were like, oh, how good is this roster really? And I'm like looking at it and I'm like, all right, on offense, I think you got potential to be better on offense in several different areas. We'll see about wide receiver. It's not star power, but the production could be different because the scheme's different. I think you're better at running back. I think you're better at tight end. I think you're definitely better at quarterback. And I think you could be just as good, if not better, on the offensive line because it's just that's been a wash. And then on defense, it's like if they can be solid at corner and edge rusher, they're going to be fine because the spine of that defense is really good.
And I keep wondering, like, who are you sure about in the conference right now, too? Like, that's the other thing to me. It's like, I mean, you could say, and this is why back when Auburn was only playing 8 SEC games a year and 3 of them were always against Alabama, Georgia, and LSU, you were like, well, you're sure about 3 teams at least in the SEC.
And those 3 teams all have varying levels of it. Like, I think LSU is going to be good. I think Georgia's going to be great, and I think Alabama has potential to be great.
But you're right. I think, and beyond that, on Auburn's schedule, I mean, Ole Miss has things to like.
Sure. Got an incredible quarter. They got a ton of skill talent back. And
it feels like Auburn's also playing several programs that are starting over in some meaningful way, including Florida and including Vanderbilt after Pavia, right? Like, so, I mean, you've got some, I don't know. I think
Tennessee's hitting is an interesting spot just because like they were not a playoff team last year, but they're good.
I just think if you looked at Auburn's schedule and saw more teams that you looked at as sure things in the SEC, it would be tougher to project that big first year for Golesh.
How about this?
Stands now, it feels like.
How about this? I think the surest thing in the SEC, and this is so funny to say in light of historically, like this sentence is going to sound weird, but like I think the surest thing in the SEC is the team that you're not playing. And that's Texas. Like,
you know what's even crazier than that is that A&M feels like one of the surer things in the league too.
Yes,
like, and
I would put Georgia, and potentially Alabama in that realm, but like Texas feels like a different level.
If you wanted to call those the top 4 teams in the league in the preseason right now, like I think, and
I would go Texas, Georgia, and then like that A&M, Alabama, like look, LSU's got a ton of upward mobility this year. Ole Miss could be really, really good again, but. Yeah, and so for Auburn, it's, again, remember, you got to keep it in the context of what are we looking at? This is a rebuild. Now, you've been in a rebuild a lot longer than you thought you would ever be, and, if you're Auburn, you probably never think you should be in rebuild mode, and I agree, right? But that's where you're at. And so when you're talking about the vibes on the Harsin meter, the Golesh meter, if you're talking about the vibes on the Golesh meter, what you're gonna see is, if you're realistic with your calibration, you should be pretty pleased with where things are right now. You gotta make it matter on Saturdays in the fall. But when you're talking about, do you feel like Auburn can take a step forward this year? Are they doing the things that you think project well to? And again, a step forward is win more games than you lose. Period. Point blank. That's all you got to do to show progress. I think you're in a good spot.